A life spent piecing myself together from books, films, music and role models left me ultimately with no sense of self at all. When people spoke of authenticity, I would nod politely, feeling emptier and more lost than before. The word itself was a riddle, sending me deeper into the search and further away from the meaning. The very word authentic comes from the word original, and I felt too far away from my childish innocence and unaware of the origins of my pain and fear. It all just was. Being had little meaning. I began this quest in my early teens and carried it like a curse well into adulthood. When I transitioned from junior school to senior school, I embraced the reinvention that came with it. A clean slate. I could be anything. But what did I want to be? What did I even love? This was my first encounter with life choices. Big, sprawling decisions I was woefully unqualified to make. My first week of senior school, where I decided to draw on reinvention as my way of starting anew and deciding my new home, and true nature threw me into a whirlwind of contradictions. First came a fight in design tech with a boy from my past. A boy with sharp elbows and an even sharper tongue set the stage. Words were exchanged in an attempt to assert ourselves and land in our new world, which was quickly followed by clumsy fists and loose and uncertain headlocks. That same week, I joined the Dungeons and Dragons Club. A true crossroads lay ahead. Who was I, and who did I want this new, clinical smelling and echoing world to see me as? A tough kid respected by all after a decisive win in a classroom battle, or a quiet outcast content to fade into a world of dice rolls and fantasy realms? A mob had formed after school, with a thrill in their hearts and a lust for adult scenarios coursing through their prepubescent veins. How I longed to be one of them, baying for blood, and not me, with the fear of mine being spilled for their entertainment. The fight ended quickly, just a few confusing and ill-advised words exchanged and a puffed-up sense of stature that felt intoxicating. Maybe this was me. After a few moments, the adrenaline flooded my arms and fists, and for a brief moment, I entertained delusions of grandeur. The confidence dissolved quickly and my heart sank when I knew I was beaten before it had begun. How did I get here, and how would I get out of it? This wasn't the plan. My safety shattered. I just wanted to be a baby again. Safe, loved, perfect. I won't go into detail about the fight, but I lost badly, thrown into a bush, scraped up, humiliated. And that's how I was seen for the next few years. The kid who lost and got shoved in a bush. Apologies and basically begging for mercy. The choice of who I was had been made for me, so I took the only path left. I became invisible, an outcast. When the time came to choose an after-school club, I rejected anything with prestige or status. No sports, no drama, nothing where eyes would be on me. Instead, I embraced a world of fantasy roleplay, a world where I could rebuild myself as someone worthy, even if it was only on paper and through small statues. Even they felt bigger and braver than me. My first session seemed promising. The room felt a quiet, anonymous place where I could escape the shame of the week before. These were not the same people that surrounded me earlier in the week chanting, "Fight, fight, fight!" No knowing glances, no smug whispers. My community was here, and my new life could begin. The teacher, our guide to this mystical realm, began by asking us to name our characters. My heart raced. This was it. My chance to reinvent myself. Something bold, something powerful. A name that could plant my feet firmly and raise my head high. I wanted to lift both my voice and my imaginary sword and declare, "I am ready, world. Let the adventure begin." When it came to me, I smiled, nervously, and yet said with confidence, "Codeine." The teacher's face twisted slightly, the way one might look at a strange bug on their sleeve. "Codeine is a painkiller," he said flatly. Around me, the group snickered. Some rolled their eyes, my cheeks burned, and I didn't hear another word for the rest of the session. That Friday night, I cried. Long, hard, and deep. I was alone and unsafe again. The path I then set upon was one of not giving love, respect, and validation. This played out in relationships over the coming years. I tried to trick people into validating me, loving me, and making me feel safe by giving them what I thought they wanted. I became an echo, a shapeshifter, an actor in my own life. But it took time for relationships to grow, for anyone to notice this awkward preteen, so I found drugs and alcohol. That's where the search would eventually lead. No feeling, only a magical personality potion. They required no waiting, no negotiation, no effort to be seen. They gave me immediate access to the warmth, the confidence, the numbness I was seeking, and for a while they did the job. Erich Fromm, the psychoanalyst and philosopher, would likely interpret this as a case of inauthentic existence. Fromm argued that in a world driven by conformity, we often build false selves to meet external expectations, abandoning our true nature in the process. For Fromm, the desire to belong, whether through toughness, fantasy, or substances, reflects a basic human need. But when these attempts fail or are met with humiliation, the result is alienation, not just from others, but from oneself. The boy who fought in the classroom, the boy who joined the Dungeons and Dragons club, the boy who named himself Codeine were all fragments of a self struggling to cohere. Fromm might say that tears shared on that Friday night weren't just about the humiliation. They were a reaction to the deeper pain of losing oneself in the attempt to be someone else. The Taoists might see this story as a lesson in Wu Wei, or the art of effortless action, of flowing with life rather than forcing it, in trying to shape himself into something he wasn't, whether a fighter or a fantasy hero or a person worthy of love through performance. The protagonist moved further away from his true nature. The Tao Te Ching reminds us, he who tries to shine dims his own light. The laughter and rejection weren't just the world's response to a misstep. They were reminders that authenticity cannot be constructed or performed. It must be uncovered, like a river carving its own path. Lao Tzu might encourage the boy to let go of the need to be anyone other than himself. In the same way the river doesn't strive to flow, or the tree doesn't struggle to grow, true selfhood emerges when we stop trying to shape it. The tears of that Friday night weren't just an end, they were a few drops of a river beginning to flow.